brother-in-law once came to us when we were, living in our first house. And, obviously much younger. And he came talking to us, and my brother-in-law's a real good dude. Always paid mostly cash, had a good job at the time, very fiscally responsible. But yet he came to us and he's like, I don't know where all my money's going. And he wanted some help. He couldn't figure it out. He was stumped. And so we sat down with him and we went through his budget. We worked through things with him. After we listed out all of his bills, there should have been a lot of money left over each month, but he was still finding himself broke. Now, he only had really a couple of vices, a couple of things that he did. For the most part, he was a homebody. He hung out at home, watching movies, playing games. And his vices were he smoked cigarettes, and he would go to the bar on weekends and drink. Now, he would only drink a few, a little bit at the bar, and he would usually only smoke a few cigarettes a day. Yet, he was constantly having to go get more packs of cigarettes. He would smoke a few, not even finish the whole cigarette, and then kind of put them out, throw them away. But he had people constantly bumming cigarettes off of him, and he would constantly leave packs of cigarettes laying around, and he would lose them. And so, even though he only had a few cigarette a day habit, he was going through 6 and 7 packs a week. And when we pointed this out to him, that was some of where his money was going. As far as, when he was at the bar, he would have a few shots, a few beers. He wouldn't get blitzed. He wasn't doing anything crazy or extreme, but yet he was racking up bar bills of in one weekend, the bills that he had with him were $90 for Friday night and $120 for Saturday. And so we're like, look, dude, that's adding up, because that right there is $200 a week. If this is indicative of, what you're doing every weekend. And he was just astounded by that. Sadly, the deal with that kind of extended also to his roommate. We found out that his roommate was taking advantage of his generous nature as well. And that's where all of his money was going. And to go along with this, I thought I would share a story of a dude I knew at one of my jobs in college. I worked at third shift at a all-night gas station. So we sold lotto and snacks and stuff like that there. It wasn't a super awesome Thornton's kind of place, but it was cool. And we had this one dude that would come in every Friday, and it was just the saddest thing ever to watch this dude come in, because this dude had a lovely wife, beautiful child, but he would come in, and every Friday, without fail, he would buy lotto tickets, scratchers in particular, and he would play scratch-off lottery. And sadly, he was addicted. He would get into it, he would start buying them, and he wouldn't know where to stop. He was constantly chasing that big win. And it was nothing to see him come in, drop $40, $50 or more at a time. But on Fridays in particular, he would come in. I don't know if he spent all of his paycheck, but I would say that he was spending a significant amount of it. And that was sad too, chasing the win, and where if he'd have just saved the money, he would have been much better off. And we also had a friend who liked to watch television series. She would come home each night and she would stream a show that she liked. It was a show that ran for several years. But the service that she was on, it wasn't included as part of the freebie in that service. So it was something that she was having to pay for. She would pay about $3 an episode, $3 or $4 an episode. Wasn't thinking too much of it. Sometimes she would just watch one, and sometimes she would watch several in a row. Okay, well, that's fine, but at $3.99 an episode, that starts to add up. Now, just some quick math will tell you, $3.99 a night times 30 nights is $120 roughly. And some nights she would watch several episodes. And so nothing wrong with having a habit and wanting to enjoy her shows, but the real kicker to all this was the series that she was watching was available for free on another streaming service. She could easily have had access to all the episodes for, $12 to $14 a month. Instead, she was spending $120 a month to be able to watch that series. I also had a friend who, I got a lot of friends. I also had a friend who shared with me that they had, their son had spent about $300 on skins in Fortnite. And this really flabbergasted me. Talk about, that just kind of floored me. It's one thing to want to indulge your children, and video games are expensive, things of that nature, but skins, something that they're going to use a couple times and then disregard, and to spend $300 on something that's digital that you're just going to use for a short while and then is going to be completely forgotten, that seems a bit out there to me. Now, different strokes for different folks, but to me that was a missed opportunity where they could have sat the kid down and talked a little bit about financial choices and things of that nature. How many different games could he have bought with that same $300? Is a conversation I would have had. And instead, he spent it on skins which he didn't even keep forever in that game. Now, what is the moral of the story? Is this just a commentary on, things that people are doing that maybe they shouldn't do? No, that's not it. We all have our vices. That's not my point, and I am not approved when it comes to that. I've got my own things that I blow money on and probably shouldn't. The point to this, though, is sometimes the perspective of somebody that's outside of the situation can help you to keep your budget in check, and that's really what I wanted to focus on. The brother-in-law, great guy, otherwise financially responsible, but could not see where his money was going each week. Our friend, it had never occurred to her to look at another streaming service. She would always just, it was convenient, it was simple, that was all she'd ever done. She was happy just watching her episodes each night, wasn't really giving it much thought. Yet how much money had she wasted needlessly? Our friend with the lotto problem, clearly he had an addiction and he needed some help. But you can't help a person unless they want to change. But it definitely was a sad situation. All of these, that's the point, is sometimes it helps to share information with somebody outside, an objective observer, so that they can help you to rein these things in and get them in check, see where the leaks are, and help you to be able to accomplish your financial goals and dreams a little better. A lot of people turn to financial coaches or consultants or something in order to get this kind of help. But sometimes, hey, your friends could do it for free, could probably do about as good of a job as those professionals are. It's easier to armchair quarterback somebody else's life than it is to manage your own at times. So take advantage of that. If we weren't so skittish about sharing some of these things with friends, we might be a lot better off. But guys, that is my financial thought for the day. Love to hear your stories if you've got some, either similar or different. You can do so in the comments below the video. You can leave it for me at fustyandfinance@gmail.com. The best thing you can do, though, is share this and other videos with close friends of yours. Everybody likes to think that their friends have everything under control and are way more on top of things than they are, and yet oftentimes the opposite is actually true.